Today's episode is brought to you by HERdacity. HERdacity is a nonprofit inspiring confidence in women to achieve their professional goals. For resources, networking opportunities, and a strong community of women, visit HERdacity.org to learn more.
Welcome to HERdacious, a podcast for audacious women. Welcome to HERdacious, the podcast made for audacious women looking for a little support on their career journey. I'm Lorelei, the host of this show, and I am really grateful you chose to tune in today for our final episode of the season, where we're going to be getting a little woo-woo on you, talking about being your own best friends. And to guide us in this conversation, I have Austin-based ICF certified mindset coach, master business and self-leadership coach with training in the TCM modality and neuroscience, Sapna Aggarwal.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much, Lorelei.
It is my pleasure to have you here, Sapna. I am really excited to talk about this. Usually we're hitting lots of hard and ugly issues about careers in this podcast. And today, to wrap up the season, I really wanted for us to be able to focus on ourselves in a way that's way more personal. And I am really excited for us to learn to love ourselves a little bit more, because I know that every woman could use a little bit more grace and a little bit more love for herself, for the woman she sees in the mirror.
Absolutely. That is the epitome. That's the foundation on which I build everything with people that I work with.
I'm glad, because that's going to be really helpful in this conversation. So where do we start? Like, how does one really become their own best friend?
Well, if we think about what a best friend does for us, they are someone who support us, who are kind to us, who are listening to our dreams, who is our advocate for ourselves, especially when it comes to in front of our inner critic that starts up. They advocate for us. They reflect the love and the limitlessness that they see in us. And I love that. And that's something I feel we can do for ourselves. It's just a matter of practice and a matter of perspective.
Well, how do we get started in that practice?
One of the best ways that I've found is to spend time with yourself. You have to get to know yourself. And how we do that is to develop a daily morning ritual. And I'm sure a lot of your listeners have heard about morning rituals, morning routine. And I really want that to be the foundation of your day, where you start your day. And there's a real respect to that. The reason we want to start our morning routine and our day with that is because that's where you fill up your cup. That is where you are starting your day with all thoughts and actions and what you are thinking about. So the morning routine is a necessary practice. It's an integral practice of spending time with yourself.
Why would we want to start off our day with another routine?
I believe this is where you are setting the intention for the day. If we don't have a clear, deliberate intention, and if we are not sort of connecting within, what you'll find is you fall into the day. It's a very reactionary way of being. And really what happens is you will not grow in a very deliberate manner to the future self that you are wanting to embody, be it in career, be it in relationship, be it in your own personal goals. And that's why I recommend that as you are waking up, and we can kind of get into what a morning routine looks like. And it's customized for really every individual that I work with, because everyone is different and it ought to really reflect you. But the idea is that you are getting up with that intention of who are you trying to be? Who shows up in your day today, and how are they showing up? So no matter what happens, some things are planned, some things are not. This is life we're talking about. You still show up as your future self. and in the present moment. So it's a very deliberate practice.
So your morning routine, is that just part of the process or what?
Well, the morning routine is how you start. So for example, let me give you specific examples. I start my morning routine with, just as my eyes are opening, I'm just really grateful for where I'm lying in my warm bed and just saying a word of gratitude, as simple as that. And, as you're getting up, I have a board on which I have certain questions that are written, and I just look at those in reflection. Then go about it, get my tea together, and then I meditate. Meditation is a beautiful way to get familiar with yourself. And it could be 5 minutes, it could be breath work, it could be 50 minutes. It's up to you. I don't worry about the time. I really want consistency. That process of getting familiar with yourself is really sort of the priming of your day.
I love the idea of creating a process to get familiar with myself, but the idea of 50 minutes of meditation to do that is a little bit of a no-go for me.
Yeah, certainly. It doesn't have to be 50 minutes, and this is why I keep it very simple and open for anyone. I want every person to start where they are. Many, many years ago, when I started the meditation discipline, the practice, it was really difficult for me to even sit 3 or 4 minutes. And it's not the time. It's really about the consistency. And it's about creating a meditation practice, whatever it may be, maybe just breath work. And breath work is very important. It's just getting you in the present moment. And it could be 5 minutes. And it could be in the middle of the day, or it could be in the morning routine. I suggest that that's how you start your day. And after that meditation, I recommend some sort of journaling, some sort of either an audio journaling. You could pick up your smartphone and speak something that you may have discovered. Sometimes I'm downloading messages from my higher self. Sometimes it's just an idea that comes. It's a very creative idea, and I will either record it or write it down. I have also some questions that I would recommend to folks out there in terms of discovery, self-discovery questions. And there's tons and tons on the internet.
Give us an example.
What would you like to do if money was no object?
Give me another.
How would you like to be in the moment right now? How can you show up as your future self right now?
Ooh.
What are some of the characteristics of people that you really admire? And how is that showing up in yourself right now? Because it's not really the people. It's not Oprah or anybody that you really admire. It's the characteristics that they have. And I believe that human being, she's just like us. The people that we admire, they're just like us. And it's about that characteristic. And how could that be something you could bring to your day today?
So asking yourself questions like this and giving yourself time to reflect, or if only just to give yourself time for yourself, is part of the process of knowing yourself better.
Absolutely. We do need space and we need time. And that's where reflection happens. And that's where your infinite intelligence sort of comes through. It's that trust, it's that wisdom. And I believe the answers are within.
A lot of us live really, really busy lives, whether we are working full-time, whether we're working multiple jobs, whether we're juggling that with a family, a partner, multiple kids. We have caretaking responsibilities for other members of our family. We got pets, we got the house, all the jazz, right? Like time is of the essence, and it's the most finite resource we have.
Absolutely.
Why is it important that I dedicate that time to reflect or study myself? How can that help me?
It will give you a clear direction. It will help you prioritize the right priorities. It will help you identify your borrowed goals. Goals that are not yours don't belong to you. They shouldn't be part of your life. And when you identify those because you're hanging out with yourself, there's only more information can come to you, more data can come to you that's really about you as opposed to other people. So when it comes to our lifestyle that has a lot of responsibilities and some of them can be, what we call busyness and chaotic schedule and so many responsibilities.
The go.
The go, hustle lifestyle. I think what has happened is that we have pretty much lost ourselves in the action, but we don't have a clear roadmap. And so the energy is really leaking at this point. We are getting tired. Every other email that shows up in the personal development world is all about exhaustion. Why is that? Because we are lost. We're lost in other people's roadmaps, other people's priorities. We are allowing other people to dictate over what is really internal. And so the value system that can emerge from self-reflection is really your gold, so that you are actually walking in the right direction towards creating a purpose, towards creating actions that are based in your belief system and your values as opposed to somebody else's. When you have a clear idea of what you would like to do in work, as in relationships, in parenting, the value system you'll find is the same values that are being expressed in your life, in various roles that you play. And it actually helps you create a framework for decisions. There's some really big decisions you're going to make in life. There are some financial ramifications of some of these decisions. You may want to move to a different country. You may want to change careers. You may want to think about a partnership that you have, romantic partnership that you have. All of these things require serious reflection. And what that self-knowledge does is give you the roadmap that you're looking for, because you are really consulting you. You're the CEO of your life.
Is there a name for this framework?
I call it the virtuous cycle. The idea is that it's the opposite of a vicious cycle, right? So when it comes to a virtuous cycle, you are looking at self-knowledge. And self-knowledge, the only way we can attain self-knowledge is by hanging out with ourselves. Right? And that does not include hanging out with the smartphone.
Or the TV.
Or the TV.
Or the laptop or the
Right.
tablet or the dog. Does the dog count?
The dog might be helpful.
Okay.
But really, it's time that you are spending with yourself and you're thinking about questions. You are thinking about where you are going. These are the speed bumps in your day that you pause, not only in the morning, but even taking that minute out. Because what you'll find is the value system will help you make your decisions much quicker. You're not as exhausted physically, mentally because of decision fatigue, because you know yourself. And when you get to know yourself in that way, it truly is a very loving way of operating.
And to be loving to my show, I gotta take a quick sponsor break. We'll be back.
Hi, Barbie here from Moonray, husband and wife indie pop duo. If you enjoy the intro music, we invite you to listen to our debut EP, Honeymoon, streaming now on all platforms. Visit www.moonray-music.com for more.
And we're back talking with Sapna Aggarwal about becoming our own best friend. Now, Sapna, before our break, I was getting the vibe that we, as human beings, are responsible for designing and defining our own mindsets, right? You're a mindset coach. How is defining, like understanding our mindset and creating the type of mindset that we want, integral for our personal and professional success.
That is truly everything when you understand what is success for you. It does not look like the success for everyone else.
Yes.
Right? We don't want to adopt other people's definitions of success, what we're seeing in society.
Mm-hmm.
Because frankly, it's leading to burnout. It's leading to a lot of pressures.
Corrosive behaviors.
Absolutely. And it's a gift for us to be able to see that and for more of a motivator to go internal because those answers are real and they're yours. Number 2, clarity. Helps you clear up obligations and delegate where necessary, right? Not everything on your list has to be done by you.
What? You mean I can delegate it out to someone else?
Absolutely. And because you know yourself and you have your priorities straight, now your financial spending and decisions that you are creating, that you are making,
intentionally?
Intentionally, deliberately are yours, right? So you may choose not to spend on 4 vacations a year or 2 vacations a year, but you may choose to allocate those funds for a monthly housekeeper or a weekly cleanup.
Or my daily Starbucks or
your
whatever.
daily Starbucks, however that is. But these are your choices. When you think about the choices you are making, you don't have to live by other people's decisions of what success looks like. And that was the inspiration behind the company name I Choose Bold. For that reason, you are choosing your life and you are leading and self-leading your life in a very bold manner. Okay? Number 3, personal psychology, understanding why you act the way you do, why you choose what you do. This is integral to your professional and personal success. If you don't study yourself and if you don't really understand what are some of those triggers that are coming up, you can self-study those patterns of behavior. They're there as a gift. And it's not something that you just do and it's one and done. This is a beautiful process. This is where you find yourself in the middle of a trigger, in the middle of the day, for whatever reason, you can pause because you can interrupt that neural pathway. You can say, okay, what's going on here? This type of intimate interaction with yourself is the whole reason I call becoming your best friend, because you are not judging yourself. When we judge ourselves, we actually negate any type of insight. We're parenting ourselves, but we're kind of pushing ourselves in a corner, and that's just not fair. It's not going to move you forward. So the idea of becoming your best friend is to allow movement, allow momentum. Okay, so let's just make sure that we kind of go back and see defining personal and professional success for yourself. Okay, you have that as your foundation. Then we move on to clarity. Okay, what are some of the goals, some of the bullet points, some of the concepts that are really about your choices for your life? Okay, that leads us to number 3, personal psychology, your mindset, your heart set, okay, your soul set. I mean, think of what makes you you. Okay, these are your components of your life. And to customize and to personalize is really the most loving thing you can do. We have to stop following what other people are doing. This is not their race. This is not their life. This is yours. And the more you personalize, you'll find that the more you love your life, right? So this is where you start looking at, well, what is it about this situation that I don't like? Like we talk about this in psychology as boundaries. Okay, well, when you are angry, there's a reason why. There's a reason why you are, for example, judging yourself about something. Why are you judging yourself? Is that even something that comes from your DNA, your family background? Is that social conditioning? Is that something that other people had set out as the shoulds, the shoulding, right?
Right.
And
Don't should yourself.
don't should yourself, because this is where you know that this is not your goal. This is not your action. This is a borrowed goal. And that's an operative word. So when you catch yourself, just pay attention. Pay attention to where you're triggering yourself, where you are triggered. When someone says something, that's data. Be a scientist in your life, okay? So that's personal psychology, mindset. You are really discovering yourself. You're kind of like the person who's like looking at your mind with a flashlight. Helps to have someone with you. And if not, this is your own self-study.
Right. Do you need a professional on this personal psychology journey, or just go at it solo?
Absolutely. Look, a professional will accelerate your results and they will see your blind spots. But it's not to say that you shouldn't be doing your own work. Even with a professional, they're going to ask you, what is it that you feel about this or that? I've come across people where they're not really sure because we've sort of numbed ourselves out, right? So it's so important to get to know yourself, get familiar with yourself, get familiar with your wants and needs and desires. That's only then can you add momentum to your goals and personalize them. Okay? So that leads to number 4, defining parameters or potentials. Right? This is where the roadmap gets more clear. If you're looking, for example, this is where if you put in the GPS Starbucks and the GPS is like, well, which one? Right? Right? You need to be much, much more specific, right? You're not going to be able to just go to a coffee shop. That's really someone's coffee shop. It's not the one that you want. The more specific you get, the clearer your roadmap is, the more likely you're able to get there faster and in a very fun manner, in a way where you're expanding, your character's developing. And this is where you're learning. It's a true growth mindset, but it's also having a growth mindset with a compassionate heart set. And I think that's what we forget in this hustle culture. And it's unfortunate because that's where we burn out.
Right. Well, I kind of want to circle back on something that you mentioned in step 3 under personal psychology. And you talked about judgment. That word comes up so often in our conversations because, why wouldn't it? We, I think, are downloaded with this mandatory software of feeling like who you are isn't enough. So we are constantly judging ourselves, we're judging our loved ones, the people around us. Nothing's ever good enough. And of course, there's always somebody out there with the cure.
Exactly. It makes for a great market, doesn't it? When you think about consumerism, you think about all the marketing, all the advertising, especially when you look at advertising towards women. Just look at it with a very critical eye and look at the messaging. It is always pointing to you are not enough as you are. Okay. And so what that does is, if you think about it, there's really 2 baskets of emotions. You have your love and you have your fear. And if the fear and the lack, that's where the advertisement is. You are not enough because you don't have the right eyeshadow, the right purse, the right dress, the right granite countertops. I don't care what it is. It's not enough. And so we keep consuming, we keep buying. We keep our buying habits, the way we consume our time, the time. Think of it this way, right? All of these things are still external voids, but the internal void that we really have can only be filled by us, not things.
I liked your comparison of like the fear basket and the love basket. Share with us why choosing to act from the love basket, like choosing love over fear. Why is that so important? Besides just the obvious that love seems kinder, nicer, gentler.
Absolutely. The love basket is really how you are perceiving the world. Okay? How you perceive yourself, how you treat yourself is how you will treat other people. If you are forgiving and accepting of yourself and you are kind with yourself and you are not so critical and judgmental, guess what? That's the energy that is leaving you. So, Wayne Dyer had used this example of if you squeeze an orange, you're going to have orange juice come out. You're not going to have apple juice come out, right? So it's very important to start treating yourself with kindness and with respect and with that same standard of acceptance that you give to yourself. You will automatically, naturally have that same sense of humor and acceptance and love with other people.
How can that show up in the workplace, in our professional choices?
Well, self-love and clarity and acceptance can only accelerate the relationships and communication you have with other people. So if you're coming from a place of the basket of love, for example, you are looking to help your colleagues, your boss, other people in your field. There's no competition. There's place for everyone. And, this is how I networked when I continue to network, but when I did this for a living, right? There's no competition in this. You're coming from a place of love. How you communicate with your boss, how you're communicating with your colleagues when you're critiquing their work, the way it's really the glasses through which you perceive life. And it is a much gentler, kinder, direct, clear way of communicating with someone.
I like that you lead me into the communication conversation because I think that communication is everything. Everything. So please share with us how learning to communicate with yourself further empowers us in our journey forward, whatever path that leads us down.
It's very important to study yourself and to figure out what is the way that empowers you. That looks very differently than what empowers someone else, right? So again, it's that loving way of sort of customizing language and paying attention to how you are phrasing certain things. It helps you become very mindful as well, right? So you're going to find that you're going to interrupt some of your consistent patterns of how you speak to yourself and go, oh, okay. You're going to say, okay, no, that's not it. I'm going to actually rephrase that. And I've done that many, many times. When I say something, when I'm communicating with myself, it is in a way that is empowering, forward moving. Okay. It is not in a way where I am punishing myself. And I feel like coming back to the judgment thing, I think what we do is we punish ourselves and we stall our progress. So you'll see a lot of people saying, well, I'm stuck. Yeah. The reason you're stuck is because you keep withholding that love from yourself.
Well, geez, Sapna, I feel like you have led us down an incredible path of self-exploration. And I am, for one, really grateful that you chose to share your passion and expertise with us today. I know you didn't get here by yourself. You have had probably some amazing teachers, mentors, folks that you have looked up to and learned from. Share a few of those resources that you would recommend to our audience so that they can continue on this journey of love, self-love, and appreciation.
Absolutely. I'm just super grateful to my teachers, my spiritual teachers, my neuroscience teachers, all the teachers that really encouraged me to go internal and to give myself that permission to live my life my way. So, for example, Dr. Joe Dispenza, he's a wonderful, world-renowned neuroscientist. He looks at it from the lens of neuroscience and ancient wisdom. Really appreciate that. Journey 8 is a wonderful app that sort of gives you the daily vitamin of inspiration. And so, definitely take a look at that. It's part of my regular morning routine. It's just that, that instant jump for 2 or 3 minutes of a wisdom nugget that I want. So it kind of summarizes that. I love that. Other things, many, many meditations are out there. If you're new to meditation, 1minutemeditation.org. There's several types of apps like the Insight app that's also very helpful. So these are some of the resources definitely that I would recommend just to sort of start out slow. And please keep keep in perspective that it's just starting small habits, tiny habits. In fact, that's a great book as well. I believe it's by BJ Fogg, which is a wonderful book to start out your new habits.
Excellent. And for those of you listening today, Sapna has been kind enough to share her self-care guide with you. All you have to do is email her at ichoosebold@gmail.com and mention this podcast, HERdacious, in the subject line, and she will send the self-care guide that she has curated for her clients with you.
Thank you very much.
But yeah, that's a lovely gift. Thank you for that. Now, as we come to the end of our very first season of HERdacious, we've covered quite a wild range of Femme facts this year. From our inaugural Femme fact covering the Equal Rights Amendment to the groundbreaking artist Kara Walker, to the FBI nuns and those sister assassins in World War II. We've learned about women of all sorts, from all walks of life, breaking barriers throughout history. And today, I wanted to wrap up this season not about a single accomplishment. I wanted to acknowledge the wild card year that 2020 has been with a few snapshots of women still breaking barriers through the challenges that have presented themselves over the course of this year. Now, back in 2017, a woman named Katie Sowers, who is an American football coach who previously played in the Women's Football Alliance before shifting her focus to coaching, she became an offensive line assistant coach for the NFL team, the 49ers. Now, when the 49ers won the NFC Championship during their 2019 season, Katie became the first female and the first openly gay coach in the history of the NFL for a Super Bowl game. And that was Super Bowl 54, which took place in February of this year. And the Super Bowl, by the way, been around for 54 years. Just want to reiterate, first female coach in the Super Bowl, first openly gay coach, all wrapped into the amazing package of Katie Sowers. Now, speaking of Super Bowl 54, 2020 also became the year that the halftime show was performed by not one, but two Latina musicians. Jenny from the Bronx and Shakira became the first two female Latina headliners of one of America's largest live performances. Now, their performance did garner a bit of criticism for their provocative costumes. And I mean, why pay attention to record-breaking artists when you could be talking trash about their outfits? But that's you do you, whatever. Personally, I thought they did an amazing job, and their talent is undeniable. Now, in contrast to the world of sports and those victories, 2020 became the year that Harvey Weinstein was finally convicted for rape. In March of this year, Weinstein was convicted of a criminal sex act in the first degree and rape in the third degree and was sentenced to 23 years in prison. That's one more step forward towards justice for women. And good riddance to bad rubbish. Now, going back to some more positive news, which, the Harvey Weinstein thing was positive, but not kind of in the same way, if you know what I mean. Earlier this month here in November, the U.S. Naval Academy named the first Black woman in its history as brigade commander for the spring semester of 2021. This is the highest leadership position at the Naval Academy, and it will now belong to Midshipman First Class Sydney Barber. Congratulations, Sydney, and well done. Lastly, because I am still in awe of our new reality, I want to wrap this Femme fact with my favorite groundbreaking, ceiling-shattering feat for women in 2020. The first female Vice President of the United States. The physical manifestation of the heights that women can soar to is now evident in Vice President-elect Kamala Harris, showing us what we can achieve and will achieve, as well as paving the way for the next generation of amazing women to dream big. Let these be a couple of the bright lights during a year plagued with challenge and loss and the pain that 2020 has brought to many of us. While women have had major career setbacks due to COVID and the subsequent economic setback, we continue to see women charging forward, bravely breaking barriers, regardless of the challenges in their way. And to help you in that pursuit, HERdacious will be coming back in 2021, primed and ready to help you along your career journey and cheering you as you shatter more glass ceilings. Sapna, my immense gratitude for your presence. I'm so thankful for the wisdom you shared with us today. And I hesitate to use the word permission, but the permission to choose our lives as we want them. I don't think women get to hear that enough. And it's really, really powerful. So thank you.
Absolutely. It's the best gift you can give yourself.
Now, it has been an honor and a privilege for you to have allowed me to be in your ear this past year. You are welcome to reach out to us, HERdacious at HERdacity.org. And don't worry, I'll be sure to put that email in our show notes because that is a mouthful and I really don't expect you to be able to spell that out right. So that's cool. Now, this show is made possible by HERdacity, a nonprofit dedicated to inspiring confidence in women to achieve your career goals. And I encourage you to follow them on all the socials at HERdacity. Also, please stay subscribed to this show. We will be coming back in 2021 with more tools, tips, and support for our Femme community, trying to help you make moves in your career journey in any way that you'd like. Until next year, I'm Lorelei. This was HERdacious. Keep on shattering those ceilings.